Joshua.
Joshua.
We are back for another ranking video today. Today we are ranking all of the Yonko, the Emperors of the Sea of One Piece.
Past and present.
So yeah, we have 7 total. We just started at the bottom. These first two are basically emperors in name only. Buggy the Clown.
He is emperor in literally name only.
Yeah.
He is the
Yeah.
face of the Cross Guild because Mihawk and Crocodile want him to be the face of the Cross Guild. They don't want the extra attention that comes with being an emperor of the sea. They like doing whatever the hell they want without being
the ones to blame, basically. They don't want the blame.
But then again, they're also knowing that they're under the warlord's protection, quote unquote. Again, I feel we need to establish this early. The reputation in One Piece is one of the most important things in the entire verse. That's how the Navy has been controlling things for so long. It's such a good reputation. And now, as we've seen recently, it's been kind of falling out of favor with some people, and these
now they're getting bounties put on their heads, thus Buggy being an emperor. So that shift in power alone, the fact that he's putting bounties on Navy heads, made him an emperor. That was pretty much it. Him doing that, having Mihawk and Crocodile under him. And with that, we go on to number 6,
which makes this a very, very controversial list, because honestly I feel like 6 and 5 are pretty interchangeable,
but
depending on the fight. But I feel like 7 out of 10,
yeah,
it'd probably go number 6 is Luffy.
Monkey D. Luffy. Nah, chill out. We know he's the main character of the show.
He didn't win in a clean 1v1 versus Kaido. He won with butter. He's not as strong as Kaido. No way in. Are you gonna try to explain? We'll get into that when we get into Kaido's feat. But
yeah,
Luffy in the manga just fought Kizaru one-on-one, and they draw.
Why is Kizaru still relevant, bro? He's from 500.
If Kizaru were to fight any of the people above him on this list one-on-one, I feel like Kizaru would get smacked. Like, I'm sorry, Luffy's time limit in Gear 5, his non-mastery of it, and the fact that he's drawn to, again, if you think admirals are as strong as emperors, why don't they just roll into their territory and take them on one-on-one? Because it's not that simple.
With that, we move on to number 5. We have
Big Mom.
Big Mom. Again, someone that you saw was much drained before her fight with on-screen ignorance that happened. But
she fought Kaido for quite a bit of time right before the Onigashima party / raid.
Yes.
And then she took on multiple members of the Straw Hat, including Jinbei, and then she took on Marco as well as
her caveat. She got finished by fucking
Kid and Law,
who have just
both got awakenings for the Devil Fruits.
Yep. So
she went through a whole army of people before she finally went down, and it wasn't even that killed her. It was the fact that they put her into lava that they won. Otherwise, she probably would have got back up from that shit.
She definitely would have got back up.
So
they've been plotting to assassinate her for 16 arcs, and they finally fucking did it just by happenstance. So Big Mom is actually that guy. Which brings us to our next one.
Number 4 on this list, and that would be Blackbeard.
So this is where it starts to get contentious. We know he has Whitebeard's powers, but he is not built like that. He doesn't like to be hit. Whitebeard, even through his powers, was just a real nigga. Like he didn't run away from nothing and nothing.
So the thing that made Whitebeard so powerful with his fruit is he trained his body with his fruit to be that strong. Blackbeard is not. We haven't seen him to be physically as strong as people like Whitebeard. We saw him take damage free time skip from a second gear Luffy. And I mean, I'm sorry, second gear Luffy is not getting anywhere close to
any
Whitebeard.
other emperor. Yeah.
Like, so especially when you start getting to the top tiers of these emperors, these guys are fucking insane. I mean, you have to be able to take out you got to be able to take some really strong hits to be able to survive. And I don't think we saw him take one hit from an old Whitebeard and he was ready to fucking run off again.
Yeah.
So they had to jump he had to get his crew and jump his ass after he had already been fighting for a long ass time. So,
after he got Whitebeard's powers, he saw Shanks and them was coming. He dipped.
and then
Every
later
time he
on,
see somebody strong,
yep.
he just dipped.
He ran from Rayleigh, and don't get me wrong, he probably could beat Rayleigh, but he ran from Rayleigh. That just shows you he's not trying to be a confrontational, long battle person. That's not what he's trying to do.
He's a sneaky bitch. He's strong, but he's a sneaky bitch.
And most of his feats come from him being able to disable devil fruits. A lot of the people now, the rest of the people on this list would be able to beat him without the devil fruit power.
Gonna beat his ass straight up. Brings us to number 3.
Kaido.
We got Kaido. This is where it gets rough. Because Kaido is stronger than a bitch. He been actively trying to kill himself since we met him, and he can't fucking die. So, like we said earlier, he fought Big Mom. They fought each other for like half a day. Then he gets to partying, got jumped by the Akazaya 9 in the party, beat they ass, and then...
And he fights the worst generation. He has to fight Zoro, Kid, Law, and Luffy all at the same time.
Niggas are teleporting shit around him. He don't know what the fuck is going on. He getting sober, which he didn't like at all.
That ends up getting separated into 2 different fights. He's still fighting Kid and Zoro for a second, or Luffy and Zoro for a second. But then he ends up beating Luffy there. Yeah, he fights Yamato next. Or no, he drops Kinemon again because they stand up again.
Yeah,
and then he fights Yamato. Or then he fights Luffy again.
No, he fought Yamato.
No, Yamato next.
Luffy was fucked up. I think.
Then he fought Luffy again, kills Luffy.
Killed that man.
Then he goes to terrorize some other people while Luffy's dead.
And then this nigga fought basically a whole army of people just trying to enjoy his night. He was gonna finish off the fodder and then go back to partying. But no.
Next
Luffy
thing he
came
knows,
back.
he gets a hand grab from behind, rips right back up to the roof. He has to fight Luffy again. In Gear 5. Now, he manages to knock him out of Gear 5 once in this fight successfully, only for him to repower up to Gear 5 once again and finally get the victory. So, all I'm saying is, with Luffy's time limit, there's no way you can say that he's up there.
Fresh 100% one-on-one, start to finish.
Kaido is still slapping.
He's stomped.
Anybody below this list, if you give him a fresh Kaido at 100%, he's winning.
Yeah, so, yeah, y'all gotta take these defeats in one piece for what they are. It's plot, and a lot of these be a war of attrition, because they've said multiple times.
But these guys can fight for 5, 7 days, 10 days of that.
A week, bro. Shit's real. But coming in above that,
this is where it gets a little contentious because you can switch Kaido with this person if you choose, because this person doesn't have necessarily the feats to back it up yet.
But Shanks is definitely up there.
He has done
him higher just because of
presence. I feel like his presence carries more.
Presence, the fact that he's Luffy's goal.
The fact that Oda has had to shadow him in so much mystery to the point where we've only seen him use one named attack and a no-diff Kid with it. Yeah. Not only Kid, but his entire crew, basically. He took out the entire ship and all. Like,
never leaving his ship, he has successfully saved Luffy. He saved Wano by just throwing hockey at a giant tree monster.
And that goes back into my Admiral points. He made one of the stronger admirals back down via just his hockey presence.
Period.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you that admirals or that emperors are stronger than admirals, I don't know what, like.
Shut down a whole war. I said, bro, this shit's over.
Yeah, he showed up in the middle of the War of the Best and said, all right, we're done fighting each other. And everybody stopped.
And like I said, anybody who else want to fight, fight me.
And the reason that I put him above Kaido personally is because they said prior to the War of the Best that Kaido was on his way to fight Whitebeard because they were rivals. And somehow Shanks intercepted him, got him to not go after Whitebeard, and then still showed up at the War of the Best to end it.
Which means that stopping for Kaido delayed him like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it did not take him very long to delay
he talked to
Kaido.
that nigga. He thought about fighting him.
Because
and
they
Kaido was like,
thought
no.
they were gonna be fighting there for days, and he was not even there for one.
Because everybody else you saw fight Kaido fought him for days. That nigga Shanks was there for like an hour or two.
At best. So there's got to be a way that Shanks is able to get these people to step down. Again, his presence carries so much. I feel like
So much weight.
people, and I mean, he was fighting Mihawk when he still had both arms, and Mihawk's known as the world's strongest swordsman. We still haven't seen that man fight for real yet because we know he's up there. As we haven't stated we've stated his name a couple times, but we haven't mentioned him. We obviously know who number one is. Good old-fashioned Whitebeard. This man was in his 70s with some debilitating disease.
Bro, this man
took
had super cancer. He had that Itachi disease. Imagine if Itachi lived to be 70. Every time this man had a battle, he took a sip of oxygen, bro.
I was
He
gonna
had
say,
an oxygen tube, so he would pump it up his nose.
Imagine this.
And be like, yeah, it's ready. Time to fight.
This is what happened. He got up from his ship. He said, took a big ass puff of oxygen, got up, and he smashed his hand to the wall and made the fucking continent quake. I mean, he shifted the seas with a single fist to the wall.
A whole tsunami, bro.
And
it wasn't even a wall, bro. He hit air. He hit air, and reality started cracking.
he is
Crazy.
the only person in the entire show who has shown a planetary feat. And so you cannot feasibly put anybody other than the person we know who is his rival Roger
Above him.
on or above his level. I mean, he has shown multiple. I mean, Kaido said they're rivals, but even he was surprised when Whitebeard got himself killed. He's like, that fucking Whitebeard, he went and got himself killed. Now who am I gonna fight for the rest of my life? Now who am I gonna look up to?
Yeah.
Like, he had somebody who he looked to as somebody who was better than himself, and he was like, that man got himself killed. What the fuck?
Yeah, that
like,
motherfucker said, he
he
got
had-
his shit out. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, he never mentioned anything about Big Mom in that scene at all, so he doesn't look up to her like that. He even said, if you come here, when he was talking to Big Mom, he said, if you come here, I'll kill you, dumb
Well,
bitch.
they were comrades. He thought he could beat her since he was a little nigga. That's always been a disputed thing. But we just feel that Kaido has the edge of that. But Whitebeard, like he said, is not only one of the strongest pirates ever, was a whole father figure to a lot of these people, which made a very big difference when we talk about the.
When you talk about reputation,
Respect
he
and
had the
reputation.
most out of anybody except for Gold Roger. He had the most reputation out of anybody in the entire season. I mean, that's when he pulled. I mean, you saw they had everybody gathered up at the Marine base because they knew just him and his squad was coming. They prepped the entire Navy to prepare for Whitebeard.
That's the type of shit he was on, and you gotta love that. And a captain, a person, and an emperor of the sea, and that's why he tops our list. This one was good and quick.
His bounty is over 5 billion. He's the only person who was alive during the show. Gold Roger was the only person higher than him, but he was not alive during the show at all. So Whitebeard had the highest active bounty during the show with over 5 billion.
So something to think about. Bounty super high for a reason. It was a nice, quick, short list today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like the video, comment, do all that fun stuff.
We'd love to hear your feedback. Hopefully we get some more ideas from y'all.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.